If you've ever sat down to do something important and just couldn't start, you're not alone. You know exactly what you need to do. You've thought about it. You've planned it. You've told yourself you're going to do it. But when the moment comes, you pause. You look at the screen. You feel that resistance. And instead of starting, you hesitate. You tell yourself you'll begin in a minute. You just need a second. So you pick up your phone. You scroll for a bit. Nothing important, just something quick. But that quick moment turns into something longer. And before you realize it, you still haven't started. And this doesn't just happen once. It happens again and again, until it starts to feel like you just can't start anything anymore. And that's where it becomes frustrating, because it doesn't make sense. You're not trying to avoid it. You actually want to do it. You know it matters. So why does it feel so difficult to begin? Most people assume this is laziness or a lack of discipline, but that's not what's happening. There's a reason your brain reacts like this, and it comes from how it's been trained over time. Think about how often you avoid effort without noticing. You reach for your phone. You switch to something easier, something faster, something that gives you immediate relief. Every time you do that, you reinforce a pattern. Avoid discomfort. Choose ease. Delay action. And the more you repeat that pattern, the stronger it becomes, until eventually your brain starts to expect it. So when you sit down to do something that requires effort, something that takes focus, something that doesn't give you instant reward, your brain pushes back. Not because you're incapable, but because it's used to something else. It's used to avoiding that exact moment, the moment where you have to start. And that moment is always the hardest part. Because starting requires energy, it requires focus, it requires stepping into something that feels uncomfortable. And if your brain has been trained to avoid that, it will keep avoiding it, automatically. That's why you feel stuck. That's why you delay things. That's why you keep putting things off, even when you don't want to. It's not random, it's a learned response. And the more you follow it, the more natural it becomes, until not starting feels normal. But here's the important part. This can change. Not by waiting until you feel motivated, not by trying to force yourself into action, but by breaking the pattern. That means starting before you feel ready, starting while it still feels uncomfortable, starting even when your brain is telling you not to. At first, that feels difficult, because it goes against what you're used to. But if you do it enough, something begins to shift. Your brain starts to expect action instead of delay. The resistance becomes weaker. Starting becomes easier. Not because the task changed, but because your response did. Because the ability to start isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something you train every single day, through your actions, through your habits, through the choices you repeat. And right now, most people are training themselves not to start.